Okay, what's up guys? Welcome to today's video. Today I want to speak about a problem which a lot of people tend to go through in the today's day and age of prop firms, which is you can pass evals but you can never reach that payout, right? You're able to get funded, you're able to get to the funded stage, but then once it's time to actually perform, you end up, self-sabotaging or just not being able to make it to that payout. So that's what we're going to be going over today. So the loop that you're probably stuck in is you will pass an eval, get funded, blow the account, rinse and repeat, right? And you're just never able to actually reach that payout consistently. Maybe you've done it once or twice, but the majority of funders that you pass, you're not able to reach that final goal, which is a payout, which is the entire reason we're trying to trade prop firms, okay? And the reason for this is because the barrier for entry to get funded is actually very, very low, right? I know traders who have gotten funded over 5 times but never seen a payout, and the reason for that is because when it comes to the eval, you can pass it very quickly by just full porting, right? All you need is basically 2 winning days and you can essentially pass the challenge, right? If you max leverage both days and went for a 1-to-1, you can pass the challenge. So it makes it it's not necessarily hard to get funded if you have the money and you just rinse and repeat, right? But just because you can pass a funder doesn't necessarily mean you have the skills to make a payout, because the approaches are completely different for each stage, right? The evaluation and the funded are 2 different stages and they need to be treated completely differently. So they are 2 completely different games, right? You see the same charts, but the objectives of an eval and a funded are completely different. The eval, you can do it as a sprint to get to that profit target. Whereas the funded account, it's going to reward consistency. It's not going to reward you trying to get there quickly. Okay, so the eval, it will reward people who are aggressive and quick. That's why you see so many people, they can pass fundeds, but they can never reach payouts, right? So all you need is one good run, right? I always say this, one good run can genuinely change everything in your trading, and especially when it comes to getting funding, all you need is one good run of 2 or 3 trades and you can get multiple funders. If you fail, it doesn't really matter, right? The stakes are low. It's demo money, right? If you fail, you can just reset it. You have no pressure on you because you know you can reset it. You can push size, like I said before, and it's more of a sprint, right? The advice online, a lot of the advice is to take it slow, but if you actually want to get funded more often than not, then you're better off just risking more, assuming you have the bankroll to go along with it. Whereas when we look at the funded account, it rewards survival and consistency, right? You want to be able to stay alive long enough to withdraw, especially on futures where you have rules like winning days, right? You have winning days, yet you'll try and make your full payout in one day. It makes no sense when you still will need to get 4 more winning days. So you just need to stay alive and stack up winning days, not try to make your entire profit target in one day. Now, you need to protect the buffer that you have, not just chase a payout in one day. Like I said, your goal shouldn't be to make a max payout in one day. Your goal should be to secure your return on investment, and that means not over risking, not over leveraging. You can't risk like you risk on the eval, okay? It's a marathon. Genuinely, it's a marathon. Like me, with my Top Step accounts, I've just been stacking small payouts, like between $700 to $1,000 payouts. Genuinely. So every time I get that payout, my balance is going to be reset to a pretty small amount, so I'm using less risk, but I'm consistently getting payouts, so why does it matter? But I think the main thing with this point is You need to understand that they are different. You need to have different approaches. For the eval, you can be aggressive. You can take it slow. You really can do whatever you want with the eval. But when it comes to the funded account, you need to take it slower. You need to size down. You need to size properly. You can't just full port your account and try and make a payout. Because more times than not, you're just going to go on tilt, blow the account, because psychologically you're not there. You're not able to psychologically handle that big risk on an actual funded account. So, reason one why you're failing, why you can't reach a payout, is you trade the funded like it's an eval. Okay, so the aggressive sizing that past the eval is exactly what will blow the funded account, right? You think that you're going to get lucky, right? You think you're going to get lucky and you're going to make a big chunk of buffer, and then you're just going to continue trading like that. I promise you it's not going to work out 99% of the time. Because when you're sizing too high, that's when the bad psychology will come into play, right? If you take a loss using big size, you're very, very likely to take another trade, okay? So the easy fix is to adjust your risk based on your system. So size so that a normal losing streak can't end you, right? And I reckon for a minimum for any system is you should give yourself at least 4 to 5 trades of drawdown before you lose the account. This is what I do. 4 to 5 trades of drawdown is a good number for me because my average losing streak is 2 to 3 trades. So I can afford to do this. Whereas if you're running a bit of a lower win rate system, your average losing streak might be 4 or 5 trades. So you're going to need to risk even less, right? You risk by your system, not by your eval's urgency, not by how fast you want to reach that payout, okay? Pretty simple, and it might be boring. You're not going to make $1,000 every single day, but does it really matter? Your main goal should be to actually reach that payout. Don't you want to make money? Do you want to make money or not, right? You want to give yourself the best opportunity of making money. That's what this entire point is about. You want to give yourself the best possibility of reaching that payout, okay? So, like, the only way that you're going to blow the account is in an extremely rare event where your system goes on a, however many trades of drawdown that you left. It's very unlikely my system will go on a 5 trade losing streak. The only way I do that is if I break my rules, if I overtrade. So if you're not doing those things, then the chance of you blowing an account is very, very unlikely, right? But if you are revenge trading, tilting, you're just going to accelerate the chance of blowing your account. Like I've had these same accounts and been getting payouts on them. I think I've gotten like 6 payouts on them now since the end of February, since start of March, right? And if I would have full ported, I would have blown those accounts way quicker. Whereas instead I gave myself the best chance of reaching a payout and continuing to get my return on investment. Now, the reason too, and what I think affects most people, is the money changes how you trade, right? Because on the eval, it's just a number, right? It doesn't really matter. It's just demo. On a funded account, you can actually make money. And that one fault and belief and realization is what makes you make different decisions than what you were doing on the eval, On the eval, you're probably trading properly, taking good trades, taking quality setups. But then as soon as you get to the funded, you start oversizing. You're holding winners too long. You're not taking profit where your system tells you to. You might move your stop loss to avoid a loss. The biggest one is taking trades outside of your plan. You might just, I think price is going to do this, so I'll just chuck on a quick position to try and make a quick extra couple $100. It's not going to work, I promise you, bro. And you trade the P&L instead of the chart, so you let the money dictate what you do on the charts, right? You stop trading your system and you start trading the dollar amount. It's a hard one to get over, but you need to remember at the end of the day, even the funded account is still demo account, right? And you shouldn't treat that like carelessness, because you are in a good opportunity to actually make some money from trading, which you've been wanting for so long. So you can't let the P&L change how you trade. Have a strict set of rules and abide by it no matter what. Like for me, if I take a loss, I'm done for the day no matter what, and I will never break that, Okay, so it is just a discipline thing, but understand that the money is changing how you're trading. This is the main one for most people, and the main reason why so many people can get funded but can't reach the payout. It's because they have the real opportunity to actually make money. And a lot of the time people will have this realization and they will start risking too much and trying to make as much money as possible when the market will humble you, right? Now, I believe the last reason is let's say you've been trading well and you get that pressure once you're near the payout line, right? You're almost there. The closer you get to the withdrawal, the louder the fear and the greed get, the worse the psychology can become. And this is a hard one. It does come with experience of once you've had a couple payouts, this kind of starts to go away. But especially if it's your first one, you might have gotten so close to payout multiple times, but then you blow it at the last second, right? The fear of giving the profit back makes you tighten up and cut winners early, or just play with the trade, even though you should just let it run. You might get greed for a bigger number that makes you push one more day or one more risky trade, and then you blow it. You take a loss by let's say you take a bad trade and it ends up being a loss, and then you go on tilt trying to make it back. I've heard it time and time again. I've had people that I've taught who are at who have been one day away from a payout and been at a very healthy balance, like $4 to $5 grand, like more than I've ever even made. Yet they still blow it on the last day. And it usually comes from breaking their plan, taking a bad trade, which ends up being a loser, and then they go on tilt. Okay, so it's very important to continue to remind yourself throughout the entire process of trading a funded account to follow your rules and to do exactly what you've been doing to get yourself to that point. Okay, you don't want to do something bad, because even if you overtrade or you take a trade that doesn't fit your system and it wins, that's going to reinforce bad habits. Okay, so the entire process, you need to keep it very strict, very mechanical on your rules and the setups you're taking. Now, the mindset reframe which you need to have is you should be trading to withdraw, not to win, right? Your job on a funded account isn't to make the most money, right? It's just to reach a payout and secure your return on investment. Like, so many traders just come into it wanting so much money, but it's like, with that mindset, you will never make the money. You never will. Maybe you'll get lucky one time and then you'll be chasing that feeling forever. I promise you, getting lucky one time is the worst thing that can happen to you. So just focus on reaching that return on investment, no matter how much it is. Okay, it could be a tiny payout. It doesn't matter. Securing the withdrawal is the entire game. Isn't that what you want, right? Once the money's in your bank, then you can scale. Then you can take more risks. So my opinion is you aim for the minimum payout first. You aim for a small payout. When you're eligible for one, just take it. Honestly, it's boring, but it beats going for something big and then blowing it, right? So trade to win. If you're trading to win, you're chasing the biggest possible number. And by the way, that chase will never end. You'll constantly be chasing that. You probably will never be satisfied with a payout because you're constantly chasing a bigger number. It's fully ego-driven. You think you're better than the markets, right? It's all or nothing. It's a terrible mindset to have, especially if you want to be consistent with prop firms. One bad day can wipe out all of your progress, right? Whereas you should be trading to withdraw. Secure the payouts first, be process-driven, and that is something that's repeatable. Whereas if you're all or nothing, that's not really repeatable. It's not. And you want money in the bank every single payout cycle as you can. So yeah. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. Quick plug, if you guys are interested in getting guidance from me, mentorship, I have a school community link down in the description where I go over my entire system. Basically everything to do with my trading, psychology. We'll do a one-on-one mentoring, live trading every single week, weekly reviews, trade breakdowns, also premium Notion template which I use to collect data, all that stuff. So if you're at a point where you're able to pass evals, but then you struggle on the payout to reach that payout, I can definitely help that. I can definitely help you with that. So yeah, if you are interested, link of that is in description. If you're not, perfectly fine. I'm going to keep pushing out all this free content. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.